I think that overall homelessness is a huge social justice issue. But I think that when women experience homelessness, that we have to respect that they're experiencing it very differently. So, the accomplishment for me would be to tell our true story.
There's such a stigma on what someone visualizes as someone being homeless, but that's not always the case. It truly can happen to anyone. It can happen to your neighbor, it can happen to your teacher, it can happen to anyone that is put in a tough situation.
It can be me, it can be someone I know. And I'm fortunate to be sitting in the chair that I am right now for a variety of reasons. I have a support system. I was able to have the resources to pursue higher education. But that doesn't mean that I'm exempt from experiencing a hardship, that I'm exempt from experiencing a traumatic life event that completely changes the course of my life.
People will always be, one accident away from losing their home, one economic cycle away from having to be on the street with their children. And I think that we have to always hold that, but we have to believe that we can overcome this.
We have to break down these systems that oppress women, and we need to be very serious about that. We need to lobby our politicians about breaking down oppressed systems, the legal systems, school systems, all of that, financial systems, are not in favor of women.
Regardless of all of those things, these are still human beings that we're talking about, and that I really believe that we belong to each other, that we have a shared responsibility as human beings, as society, to take care of one another.
Many of us oftentimes feel like we have to, start from scratch or reinvent the wheel, and that is not the case. There are so many incredible organizations across the country doing incredible work in their community and implementing best practices, innovating, coming up with new solutions to challenges that we're facing. And I want to learn, I want to come alongside those individuals to strengthen our program and our community.
There are things that I can't push alone. So having a group, one, that I can grow and develop from, but then also my background, how I can help other individuals, other organizations that are a part of the network to do different things.
My name is Constance Collins, and I'm the founder of the Lotus House Women's Shelter and executive director of the National Women's Shelter Network. More than 10 years ago, we had a dream to build a network of women's shelters from across the country, to share information, develop best practices, and build a voice on a national level for those we serve and the shelters that are struggling every day to meet their needs. During the pandemic, it was more urgent than ever, and we began to scour the country, researching state by state, city by city, to identify the women's shelters around the country. This is the first network of its kind. Together, we have the opportunity to build a voice at a national level, to advocate for more resources, and to change the trauma of homelessness into windows of opportunity for women and children around our nation.
My name is Gretel Jimenez-Singer. I'm the director of the National Women's Shelter Network. And since my early days as a volunteer at the Lotus House, I knew our time to come together nationally would come one day. For years, we understood what issues we were facing, but we were determined to learn about what other shelters were experiencing. After scouring the country and securing a comprehensive database of women's shelters, we decided to go on the road and build our network. We drove over 10,000 miles, we visited more than 50 shelters, and met incredibly committed people who are helping transform the life of those most in need in their communities every single day. Our journey was both heartwarming and heartbreaking. We learned that we all face a lot of challenges and have a lot of questions for each other, but we find inspiration in many places, and we all recognize the urgency to work together, to share, and to collectively advance the status of women and children experiencing homelessness. Our time has finally come.
So what are the greatest challenges that I face at the organization daily?
Every single day at Lotus House in our lobby, we have women who have been dropped off with nowhere to go, and because we don't have beds available, we have to turn them away.
In order to succeed, I think that I need a community of peers. I think that executive leadership can be very lonely and very stressful and feel very solitary without a community of support.
What do I need in order to succeed at my work? A great team around me.
Funding, that's a big deal for any nonprofit.
The support from our community, government leaders, access to resources.
We don't receive any government funding, and so it's compounded by the fact that we're not only seeing so much need out there, but we're also having to raise all our own money to support meeting the needs of this population.
Certainly one of the greatest challenges in the work that we all do together is to provide the resources needed to really end the cycle of homelessness.
Finding affordable permanent housing for our families.
Addressing issues of systemic racism, or being able to lean into the conversation of racism as a public health crisis.
Faith, hope, support. I think it takes a village, and that has never been more true.
To have partners, to have organizations, to have a community who can be a think tank and a thought partner who can help us continue to grow.
I am constantly feeling the push and pull of what needs to be done, what wants to be done, what needs to be done for future, what needs to be done in that moment.
My questions for other shelter leaders and directors are how do you do it?
What are your challenges? What are the big barriers that you're facing? And then also what's working?
A lot of times it's hard, then there are struggles and there are difficulties in the day-to-day. It gets heavy. And some innovative ways to fundraise, is there something that we're missing? Is there something else that we could be doing?
I think one of my biggest questions of all of us in this space is really what can we be doing together to make the biggest difference possible?
I'd love to learn more about what other shelters have done to increase the work-life balance for your team members, or rather improve the work-life balance of your team members.
What are they doing to work with their teams that are in their programs? What creative activities to keep them engaged, to keep them learning?
We're looking at this whole big new challenge around housing. Have you been there? What was that like? How did you take those first steps?
How do you, as an organization, continue to grow and increase your impact in the number of folks you're able to serve, while not losing sight of your values as an organization and the things that make you unique?
How do you keep the faith, especially in leadership?
I want to also learn what other people are experiencing around what gender means to be serving a female organization in a time where gender is a very fluid thing.
There is nothing more rewarding than to see that you have purpose, and the work that you are doing you consistently can learn from and build on.
What inspires me to do this work every day is the joy that I receive when I meet new women that come into our programs and see them excel and accomplish things that they never thought that they were going to be able to do.
Oftentimes we feel like it's an uphill battle, but the dedication of our team members and the results that we see among our women and children make it all worth it.
We've housed from homelessness over the past couple of years 144 women, and 97% of them are still in their housing because of the incredible stabilization work we do.
Last year, we had 86% of our guests successfully exit outside of the shelter system.
Seeing children thrive, seeing children increase their academics, seeing kids come in with straight F's and going to A's and B's, seeing the smile on their faces, we just purchased a laptop computer for one of our graduates as a graduation gift, seeing them graduate from high school, go on into the military, seeing parents get increases on their jobs and promotions, seeing the progress.
I feel very lucky and privileged to be in a position where I can bring my passions and full self.
We're making a lifelong impact on people who had given up on life and now have a new start to it. That's what inspires me.
I think our greatest chance of changing the narrative is for us to come together as a collective group to make our voices heard and to say that these are our needs and this is what we're seeing and experiencing.
They're trying to accomplish what I think we've been trying to do, work in silos, and they're trying to bring all of this brilliance that's happening nationally to one conversation. And that inspires me to feel like we can make a difference if we pull all these collective minds together. We can make some true change.
This is such an opportunity to be part of building something that will provide a voice to millions of voiceless.
I think the more that we can join our voices together and share our data, share our resources, the stronger that we can make continuums of care everywhere for women.
It's really exciting to be part of more than a network, a movement that really is committed to pushing forward the agenda of supporting women and children.
And to see this as a way where we could collectively raise our voice to be of service to all the people that we serve across the nation.
The greater this group can be together, the more amplified that's going to be on their behalf, and it's going to make change happen.
We are the National Women's Shelter Network.
We are the National Women's Shelter Network.
We want to end and prevent homelessness.
We need to come together.
We need to come together as a national network.
We need to change the narrative.
We need resources. Amen.
We need financial support.
We need national awareness.
We need our national and local leaders to get involved.
We need to come together.
We need to come together.
We need to come together.
We need each other.
We need more hugs.
We need more smiles.
We need more love.
Now is the time.
Let's end and prevent homelessness.
Together.
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 Together, we are stronger.
We are stronger.
We are stronger.
We are stronger.
Together, we are stronger.